So welcome to the mindful yoga practices. On this CD, remember that in these yoga practices, in our mindfulness classes, it's about the paying of attention and the awareness, not so much about the postures and the movement. Therefore, being aware, especially of any discomfort or pain, is very important. Adjusting and modifying the postures, coming out of postures when called for, is certainly advised if there is any discomfort or pain. And if you choose to sit out a posture, keeping mindful awareness as you do, is just as much a practice as actually going through the sequence and the poses. Since some people are more flexible than others, it's generally suggested that you begin with less effort the first few times you do these practices and then increase the intensity as you practice, using the extent of the effort as a guide to your progress. However, remembering there is a non-striving attitude through all our practices. So as long as you're maintaining awareness, paying attention, non-judgmentally, you'll be doing the practice of mindfulness. Therefore, it's not about the particular pose, but about the awareness itself that we're cultivating. So when you're ready, using a yoga mat or a carpeted floor so that you're not in contact with a hard floor is suggested. Loose, comfortable clothing is also advised. Keeping hydrated, and again, listening to your body for signs of discomfort or pain is suggested. And then coming to the mat and to the practice with an intention to pay attention and stay aware of whatever arises in the breath, in the body, in the mind, and in the heart is all that's needed. So when you're ready, begin the practice. This is the standing yoga practice of the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. I will be guiding a series of poses and movements so that we can cultivate presence, different positions. Do the best that you can with the poses, knowing that modifying, adjusting, or skipping any of the positions that do not feel right at any time is acceptable. If you do choose to sit out one of the poses, consider imagining what the pose would be like. And when you're ready, joining the recording wherever it is. Remember to take good care, listening to your body for any signs of distress, any discomfort, and especially pain. If any of these occur, take a break or even stop the practice. Wear loose clothing. Find yourself an area of your room where you can stand and move about comfortably, as well as reach up overhead without obstruction. Using a yoga mat or something sturdy to stand on is advisable. Then when you're ready, taking a moment to congratulate yourself for coming to do these practices, remembering it's not about the poses or the flexibility, but about the attending and the quality of the attention and an attitude of being gentle, kind, and friendly with yourself. So when you're ready, coming to the mat or the floor space where you'll begin this practice, establishing the mountain pose. Mountain pose is the foundational posture of the standing sequence. Bringing the feet so that they're underneath the hips, pointing the toes straight ahead, and if it's available for you, having the feet parallel to each other. And sensing the contact of the soles of the feet with the mat or the floor. Sensing into the pressure and the weight of the body. And lifting the toes, noticing the changes of the pressure. Releasing the toes when you're ready. And perhaps beginning to rock forward and back, noticing the differences as the weight shifts, and now side to side, and then coming back to center and to stillness. Noticing perhaps that in this stillness, there are still some subtle movements as the body balances and rebalances. And bringing the attention now from the soles of the feet up to the knees. Noticing if the knees are locked, and if they are, producing a slight micro bend so that they are not locked. And then bringing the attention into the pelvis, allowing the pelvis to be in neutral, not too far tilted backwards or forwards. The analogy we use sometimes is as if the pelvis is a bowl holding water, and the correct position is when the pelvis is not spilling water either out the front or the back. This has the effect of loosening the lower back muscles. And then bring the attention into the torso, the main part of the body. Sensing this main part of the body expanding, lifting up on the in-breath, receding back down, contracting on the out-breath as you breathe. And then bringing the attention up to the shoulders, allowing the shoulders to fall back and down so that the front of the chest opens. The arms should be hanging loosely alongside the body. The hands and fingers are soft, elongating the neck, leveling the chin. And for a few breaths, closing the eyes, noticing how it is to be a standing, breathing mountain. Sturdy, rooted and grounded, elongating upwards. as you breathe. And then bringing the attention into both arms, turning the palms out with awareness, raising the arms up overhead, straight up toward the ceiling, and reaching up with the hands and the arms and the torso into a full body stretch. Continuing to breathe naturally, feeling the sensations from the tips of the fingers down to the soles of the feet. And then on an exhalation, turning the palms down, floating the arms back so that they come to rest alongside the body. And then doing that one more time by inhaling the arms up, reaching into another full body stretch, and allowing the arms to float back down to the mountain pose. Pausing here, noticing the sensations, the contact with the soles of the feet, the breath, sensations in the arms. And then once again, inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling, floating them down so that to the rhythm of your own breath, inhaling the arms up, exhaling the arms down as you breathe. Aware of all the sensations, particularly in the shoulders and arms, but also in the torso, the legs. And then after this last cycle, coming back to a mountain pose. And then when you're ready, raising the arms horizontally so that you're in a T position. Hold the fingers pointing up toward the ceiling, sensing into the stretch in the horizontal position. Allowing the arms to float back down to the mountain pose. Continuing to breathe naturally. And then bringing the attention into the right arm, reaching up with the right arm overhead as if you're going to pick a fruit off of a tree that is just beyond the reach of the hand. And if you care to, lifting the opposite heel, that is the left heel, to increase the stretch on the right side of the body. Finally, if it's available to you, looking up toward the right hand or perhaps down to the floor. Sensing the stretch on the right side of the body. And then as you exhale, allowing the right arm to float back down, pausing here, noticing the differences in the sensations on the right side of the body, right shoulder, and right arm compared to the left. And now we'll do the opposite side. When you're ready with awareness, raising the left arm up overhead, reaching up, and lifting the right heel. Looking up at the top hand or perhaps down at the floor, whichever is more comfortable for you. Noticing the sensations on the left side of the body, and breathing. And then on an exhalation, allowing the left arm to come back down, back into a mountain pose. Pausing here for a few breaths, aware of any sensations, perhaps thoughts and emotions. And bringing the attention into both arms, inhaling both arms up overhead. And when you reach the maximum, taking the right hand, holding on to the left wrist. If it's available to you, pulling slightly up on the left arm. And then as you exhale, folding over to the right. Stretching out the left side of the body, grounding into the left foot, breathing, noticing. And then coming back up to neutral, switching hands with the left hand holding on to the right wrist, gently pulling up, and on an exhalation, folding to the left. Stretching out the right side of the body as you breathe. Aware of any sensations, emotions, feelings, and thoughts. And then coming back up and allowing both arms to float gently down alongside of the body into mountain pose. And now we'll do some gentle shoulder rolls. Begin by bringing the shoulders up toward the ears and then allowing them to fall back and down, then bringing them forward and up, circling the shoulders up, back, down, front, up. Noticing the sensations in both shoulder areas. And then pausing and reversing directions. And continue to circle the shoulders in this direction as you continue to notice the sensations arising from the shoulder regions. And then when you're ready, coming back to neutral. Pausing in mountain pose. Noticing the sensations from the soles, the legs, the torso, the arms, and the head. And now we'll begin some gentle neck rolls. Here being very aware of any discomfort or pain. If anything arises that is uncomfortable, backing off, adjusting, modifying, or not doing the neck rolls. Starting by elongating the neck upward and then looking over the left shoulder, going only as far as feels right to you. Holding, noticing the sensations, both sides of the neck, and then coming back to neutral, pausing, elongating again, and then looking over the opposite shoulder. Pausing here. And then going back and forth as if you're shaking your head no. And back to neutral. When you're ready, allowing the chin to fall down toward the chest, sensing the stretch in the back of the neck, being gentle, and then looking up, stretching out the throat, the front of the neck, remembering to go only as far as it feels right to you this time. And then going back and forth a few times in the yes movement. Noticing again any sensations that may be uncomfortable. And then pausing back in the neutral position. And now we'll stretch the sides of the neck. Begin by tipping the head to the right, bringing the right ear toward the right shoulder, trying not to lift the right shoulder toward the ears. And again, going only as far as feels right to you. Sensing the stretch on the left side of the neck. And coming back up, and when you're ready, tipping the head to the left by allowing the left ear to come down to the left shoulder as far as it'll go without forcing or striving. And bringing the head back up to neutral, pausing in the mountain pose, noticing how it feels in and around the neck, as well as the rest of the body. And now we'll be doing a balance pose. Balance pose are helped by finding a focal point in the wall in front of you, or perhaps on the floor out in front, a focal point that is not moving. For the balance postures, it may be necessary to have something to lean or hold on to, such as the chair or a wall. There's certainly nothing inappropriate about that. So if you need to, finding a chair or coming up to a wall to help with your balance. Then when you're ready, shifting the weight onto the right foot, sensing into the right foot. And on your next inhalation, raising the arms up into the T position horizontally and lifting the left foot off the ground. Noticing the sensations, perhaps balancing and rebalancing, and noticing any thoughts and judgments, comparisons, as well as any emotions. Lowering the arms and the left foot, pausing in mountain pose, reestablishing balance. And then when you're ready, shifting the weight onto the left foot, raising both arms up into the horizontal T position and lifting the right foot off the ground. Noticing the thoughts and the emotions as well as the sensations. And coming back to the mountain pose. Now we'll do some simple, gentle spine twists. Bringing the hands onto the waist. When you're ready, looking over the right shoulder, tipping the right shoulder back, bringing the left shoulder forward, keeping the pelvis and feet pointing forward. Twisting the upper spine. It may not seem like much is happening, and that's okay. Looking over the right shoulder. And then coming back to center. When you're ready, looking over the left shoulder, tipping the left shoulder back, the right shoulder forward, maintaining the alignment of the pelvis and feet pointing forward. And then coming back to center. And now we'll twist the entire spine. If you care to, bring the feet together, or perhaps widen the stance out slightly. When you're ready, twisting completely to the right, including the head, the shoulders, the upper and lower spine, keeping only the feet pointing forward. And if it's available to you, bring in the eyes to look to the right. Twisting from the pelvis all the way up to the head. Going only as far as feels right to you. Continuing to breathe. And then coming back to neutral. Looking over to the left and twisting completely to the left. Again, just the feet are pointing forward. Turning the head and the eyes all the way to the left if that's available to you. And breathing, noticing the sensations, the thoughts, and the emotions. And coming back to center, back to the mountain pose. And now we'll do the chair pose. So from mountain pose, bending the legs as if you're sitting down on a chair. You can go as high or as low as feels comfortable to you. And then raising the arms straight out in front of you, or if you care to, up toward the ceiling. Pausing here in chair pose. Noticing the sensations, particularly in the thighs. holding this position, but remembering, if necessary, coming out of the posture at any time. Breathing. And when you're ready, coming back up to the mountain pose. Noticing the breath here. Noticing the sensations in the legs. Noticing any thoughts, judgments, emotions. And now we'll do a chair pose with a forward fold. So when you're ready, inhaling and coming into the chair pose, and as you exhale, fold forward, bending the knees if you care to, going only as far forward as you can. We are just allowing the lower back to stretch out, not so much stretching the legs. And if it's available to you, just hanging in this forward fold for a breath or two. And then when you're ready, bending the legs as much as necessary so that you can reach down to the floor with the left hand, and then raising the right hand horizontally in front of you. And bringing the right hand back down, planting the right hand, and lifting the left hand out in front of you. And coming back down to the forward fold, pausing here for a breath, and then taking all the time you need, slowly coming back up to a mountain pose, aware of any lightheadedness or dizziness, using the hands to help you up if necessary. Pausing in this mountain pose, noticing how it feels in the body. Noticing the breath. And now we'll be doing the tree pose. The tree pose is a balance pose, so again, if you need a chair or a wall, finding those now. And when you're ready, shifting the weight onto the right foot, grounding, rooting into the right foot, turning the left leg out and bringing the left foot up to the left ankle, maintaining contact with the floor, or perhaps bringing the left foot up against the inside of the right calf, or if it's available to you, inside of the right thigh. Remembering the focal point is most useful here. And then with the hands, bringing them into the prayer position in front of the chest. And if you care to, raising them up overhead, reaching up toward the ceiling, or expressing your tree any way you like with the hands and arms. Noticing the judgments, criticisms, comparisons, any emotions, knowing that it is perfectly okay if you're balancing and rebalancing or coming out of the pose at any time. So releasing the arms and the left foot, shaking this off if you need to, getting ready for the other side. Shifting the weight onto the left foot, grounding and rooting. And when you're ready, lifting the right foot either up to the inside of the left calf or left thigh, or if necessary, keeping it down by the left heel, maintaining contact with the floor for balance. And then bringing the arms up into whatever position you'd like to express this tree at this time. And again, noticing the thoughts and emotions, comparisons and judgments, as well as any of the balancing and rebalancing, swaying movements. And releasing the arms, releasing the right foot, coming back to mountain pose. And now we'll be coming into some seated poses. So with awareness, noticing how you choose to arrive, coming into a seated position, bringing the soles of your feet together, allowing the knees to splay out only as far as they'll go. No need to force or reach a certain point. And then holding the feet with both hands by wrapping the hands around the feet. Noticing in particular the sensations in the inner thighs and groin. Noticing the sensations in the torso. How is it in the face? And if you care to, leaning forward only as far as you care to go. And then coming back up, releasing the grip on the feet, extending just the right leg out in front of you, keeping the left foot up against the inside of the right thigh. Turning the body to face over the right leg. And when you're ready, raising the arms up overhead and bending forward over the right leg. Walking the hands as far forward as they can go, knowing that if there's very little forward fold, that is perfectly fine. Going only as far as you can go. Accepting as far as you can go. And then slowly walking the hands back up, switching legs, stretching the left leg out in front of you, bringing the right foot up against the inside of the left thigh, raising the arms up overhead, and folding forward as far as you can go without straining or striving, avoiding any discomfort or pain. And then walking the hands back up into neutral, stretching both legs out in front of you, bouncing and shaking the legs, coming to stillness with the legs out in front of you, raising the arms up overhead and folding forward with both legs stretched out in front of you. Again, only as far as you can go, knowing that that is perfectly fine. And then with awareness coming back up and finding yourself on your back, establishing the final relaxation pose by stretching the legs out long on the mat, allowing the feet to splay out, bringing the arms alongside the body, turning the palms up by turning the shoulder blades under, if that's available for you. Placing the head and neck in neutral, closing the eyes, and letting go. Allowing the body to integrate all of the movements and poses. Allowing the breath to be natural as you breathe. And then gathering your attention, bringing it back into the body, noticing how it feels in the body right now. And as we come to the end of this standing yoga practice, taking a moment to honor and congratulate yourself for having done this practice and for all that you're doing in this mindfulness-based stress reduction course. Perhaps setting the intention to be a little more mindful throughout your everyday life.